Hi there. So glad you could join us. I'm Jolene Moan from Close to My Heart. And we are all so excited that you could come and join us this evening. It's just so much fun, isn't it, to have these frequent little mini classes that they're put on for us and all the specials everyone has. And my special is 25% off of everything in the My Stash section of my website, which is JILLENE, Jolene.net/S/shop. The code you need is STASH25, and it is good until September 30th. Yahoo! There's going to be items added every few days, so check in more than once. If you're watching this on the replay, there's plenty left. Check it out. So thanks for joining me. I thought I'd start out by showing you the brand new catalogs we have at Close to My Heart. We have 2 as of September 1st. Woohoo! Yay, yay, yay! And if you'd like to get these catalogs, you sure can. I will put them in your order for free with a $100 purchase. I should have made a little sign for that. Free with a $100 purchase, both catalogs. So let's see, they are pretty substantial. 100 pages for the core catalog and 45 for this one. Lots of ideas and tons of new stuff. But I thought it'd be kind of a kick for you to see the swaps that I got from my team with all new product. And then I'm going to go into showing you 12 different techniques that you might have forgotten about, or you might already know, or maybe you didn't know. Hopefully you didn't know some of them. Okay. When you're a consultant on my team, we make 10 or 8 of the same card, and we send them out to me, and then I sort them and mail them back to everybody. So we get all kinds of different options. I love how this one has the Distress Oxide ink and the rainbowy colors. Beautiful. This was done by Maggie. She lives in Chicago. Yay, Maggie! Thank you for participating. Gotta love this stamp. Gosh, it's got everything. It's got happy birthday. Hope your day is, everything. This was made by Brenda, and she's from Iowa. Hey, Brenda. If you've ever thought of being a consultant, now is the perfect time to join. Because of COVID, we really need help. We do. We're very busy. So this set is called Stitched Florals, with thin cuts or without. So pretty, huh? And another new thin cut we have, another new thin cut. There we go. Thank you, Brenda. Here we go with some Shake It Up cards. We have 3 new types of shakers. Super easy to assemble. Hearts and squares and rectangles. And we've always had circles. So have some fun with these. I think the thing about this is if you use your imagination to put different things in it. This is so cute. Baby card. This is called Nursery Days. You can get it with or without thin cuts. Okay. This was made by Jen, and Jen's from Chicago. Yay, Jen! Now we got the favorite of everything. We got dog and cat. So this one is so cute, and it also uses one of our thin cuts, this window thin cut. Isn't that so cute? So fun. I love how she just colored just a few of them, you know. Give it some style and a little smoothness around there. So sorry to hear you had a rough day. This was made by Amy in Wisconsin, one of my new managers. Yay, Amy! Anyway, it's such a cute set. You're doggone amazing, hot diggity dog. Sorry to hear you had a rough day. If you're happy and you know it, wag your tail. I think that's my favorite. So cute. So cute. Then, of course, we have the cats. Can never forget about the cats, right? And I love this one because she kept this super simple for maximum impact. This was done by Sigrid, and she lives in Iowa. Yay, Sigrid. And it looks like she did some charcoal shimmer brush around the edge here. Maybe hard to see. But again, a new shaker card shape in the squares. I love her little use of red. Just some tiny little red. So cute. And for those of you that maybe don't like to put out too much effort, or you just want to go somewhere and have everything in one kit, we have scrapbooking and stamping card kits in every catalog that we come out with. Every 2 months we have 2 new paper suites for you, and every paper suite has a scrapbook kit and a card kit. So I'm going to show you the card kit from Bloom with Grace. This is Bloom with Grace. Isn't it pretty? So when you buy one of our card kits, you get everything to create 16 cards, 4 of each. Way to grab life by the horns, let your dreams blossom. Cute. You make 4 of each. You get a total cutting guide that tells you what size to cut each piece of paper. And it looks like all you need is a black ink pad. Well, we all got that, don't we? You could even use like a brown or something too, I think. You also get an exclusive stamp set that's only available in the card kit. Your bling and your cards and envelopes. That's what's the cool one. So you can stamp a little something on your envelopes, which is always kind of fun. I never remember to do that because I always have my envelope somewhere else. But okay, so there's another idea for you for some techniques. Of course, you can always bling those up and add more to them, or you can also use the kits for a springboard for your creativity. Get you started, maybe. Or if you just want to go and bring your trimmer and a couple things, there you go. So let's get to some techniques, huh? Do you ever think of stamping on pattern paper? I have to say, this is something that I rarely think of, but I think it looks really great, don't you? I love it. So try that on some of your pattern paper. Of course, there's always 1st and 2nd generation stamping, and that means you ink up your stamp, and without re-inking it, you just stamp again. So stamp, stamp again, stamp, stamp again. It makes for some fun dimension on your card. All of these cards I'm showing you all have stamps. I have the stamps for all of these in my stash, in my stash sale, 25% off. Of course, random stamping is always a great technique, but a lot of people forget to do the triangle. It's important to continue the eye across the page. I usually start in the middle and then make a triangle. See the triangle? Love these little rectangles. Aren't these cute? And this was made by my friend Michelle. And she's a brand new consultant. She's going to do great, isn't she? Look at how pretty this is. Our shimmer trim. It's pretty easy to remember to use a water brush and just fill in with either inks, your inks, squeeze it on your ink pad, and then take your water brush and use some from your ink pad. But remember though, you do not have to always fill in every single space. It looks so much prettier, doesn't it? To just leave some white space. This is always difficult for me, so I love this. I think this is a beautiful card. And this was done by Lisa in Iowa. Thank you, Lisa. And then, of course, you have your tone on tone stamping. Close to My Heart has 40 exclusive colors. And we have inks and paper to coordinate, to match pretty much. We're not supposed to say match, but it's almost matching. But it gives us another way to give dimension. And then when you're random stamping, don't forget to go off this piece of paper. Go off the piece of paper. The reason for this is if you look at wrapping paper, that's how it, looks. It's just easier on the eye. And also turn your stamp upside down, sideways. Love these vintage cameras. These are so cool. And this was made by Barbara, and she's from Wisconsin also. I'm from Minneapolis. Don't forget to color with your beautiful markers. Now, Close to My Heart has just added 24 more colors into our Tri-Blend Spectrum Noir marker sets. These have 3 colors in each marker. They're a little taller than usual, but they're super fun to hold and use. And I usually start with the middle one or the light one, because you can always go darker, right? So, and here is a cute idea that we sometimes love to do, and that's just coloring in your alphabets. Alphabet saves you tons of money because you never run out of your A's and your E's, and you don't have to store 500 sheets of stickers. Also, embossing, our favorite. That's something that's been around a while, huh? If you can see it on here, but you can use Versamat or pigment ink to emboss. What I really think is fun here on this card is that she embossed this pattern piece of paper. You can see the dots, and it's very subtle, but it's cool, isn't it? Very cool. And this was made by Peggy in Iowa. Here's another beautiful embossing card. So this one we first sponged it with the different inks, then embossed over that. And the random stamping. Beautiful, huh? This is probably one of the prettiest cards I've ever gotten, and this was made by Brenda, and she lives in New York. And I just think this is so pretty. I never think to emboss on vellum. Isn't that beautiful? Great job, Brenda. Well, then to say nothing about this paper weaving. Beautiful. And then you can always be just highlighting your title with embossing powder, or you can highlight something else by, of course, using your 3D tape, or you can use liquid glass, which is a heavy-duty glue that also makes things sparkly and shiny. Now, don't underestimate the power of a little glitter, right? Or not glitter, but shimmer. Our shimmer brushes. We love these. We so love these. They're like this. They last forever. Have the color on the top, and you want to store them this way. I have a couple of these in my clearance, my stash sale. Okay? But isn't that pretty? Just a little bit, you can see. This was made by Sigrid. Thank you, Sigrid. Don't forget those little details. And of course, we all love fun ones. Here's some more shimmer brush. This one is just clear. Subtle. And enjoy the journey. This was made by my wonderful upline, Tina, who lives in Florida. And you probably know Tina. She's a doll. So this is a congratulations. We're supposed to go to Tahiti. We're still hoping to go. But we've been rescheduled a couple times. I don't know. Anyway, lots of fun being a consultant. If you want more information, let me know. So just remember, if you're not sure, layer things, layer, layer, layer. If you look at something and go, well, just add another layer, I promise. It'll help make it stand out. And here's the mint shimmer brush. Good vibes. Namaste. Love this one because she used 3 different colors on the front in the saying. And that's unusual. I've seen 2, but not 3. So, very sweet card. This was made by Michelle Bell, too. And I made this one. So, whoops, I don't know what that is. An extra piece of bling. Huh. Anyways, here's another little tip for when you're doing your shaker cards. Don't forget to glue a few down before you cover it with the acetate sheet that comes with it. Or you can, everything's all together. But if you put some up here, then they don't all fall down to down here. And then add a few extra on your card. So fun. Huh? Yay. Yay. Shaker, shaker. And then, of course, now, winter's coming up, so we gotta think about our snow, folks. We have all the different shapes for these now. So fun, so fun. This one I love because it's just simple. Excuse me. Just 3 circles. I guess, just to think outside the box and say, oh, let's put 3 circles randomly in a triangle, of course. And you're laying in a triangle. But try that. I like how the sentiments are split apart. And here's another one that I made. Thoughts of you always put a smile on my face. And this is the strip technique. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun and have a nice rest of your evening. My sale goes until September 30th. So have a great time shopping. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
this is Michelle with Pink and Main. Thanks for joining us today at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo at-home event. We're going to be making some handmade cards and doing some different techniques today. I'm going to be using stencils or stenciled backgrounds as part of our card making. So that's going to be our technique for today. So we'll jump right in with our first card, and I've gone ahead and kind of prepped a little bit ahead of time, but I'll walk you through what we're doing here. For this first card, we're going to be using one of our Masket stencils. These can be found at pinkandmain.com, and these are stencils that have a center shape cut out. With the stencil, you also get that negative shape as a part of the stencil, but you can use this negative space to create kind of like a highlighted area on your cards. So what I have here is I have 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 or A2 size card base cut and scored and folded. And then I have 2 layering pieces, which I've used are layering A2 size rectangle dies. And these just do what they say, some layering A2 sized rectangles. So I've got one in like a craft paper there. And then our white piece layers right on top of it. It gives a nice 1/8 of an inch border around. And you can see where I have laid the Masket rectangle stencil over that white piece of cardstock. And I've just blended with our ergonomic blender brush some orange ink. And you just get this really pretty, it's got a soft look to it, that ink blending look. And it's a nice highlight area for our stamped image. And the image that we're using is one of our hot cocoa or coffee mugs from our Need to Venti stamp set, which is new and just released not too long ago here. This is the stamp set. It's got some different warm drinks. I love that mug that looks like a pumpkin. That is really cute. And I'm going to use the stamp I Love You a Latte on this card. I'm going to be using one of our clear blocks, and here at Pink and Main, our clear blocks, if you can see, they have a tint of pink to them. So they're still completely clear. You can see through them, see exactly where you're stamping. They have these nice edges, kind of bumpy edges, scalloped edges that make them a little bit easy to hold and grip. They have grids on them so that you can line your stamps up nice and straight. So let's stamp our I Love You a Latte on our white piece of paper here. Now this is the first time I am stamping this stamp, so like you always want to do is you just want to ink it up real good and try it out first just to make sure. And I usually stamp a couple of times just to stamp all that ink off. And you can see it stamped really well the first time, so we are ready to go. And voila, now we have our sentiments. So now I want to add just an extra little something. I wanted to add some twine to the card just to give it some extra texture, because it's almost a 1-layer card without really being a 1-layer card. It's a very flat card, so I'm going to add some twine. So I'm just going to go on the back, and where I want to add that twine, I'm just going to put some adhesive so that it catches on the back. So I've attached the edge of the twine to the adhesive on the back. I'm going to wrap it to the other side. Now, instead of wrapping this completely around the card over and over, I'm a little thrifty, I'll admit it. So I wrap this back this way. Now look, you're going to save like 4 inches of twine here. I wrap it back, and then we're going to go back across the front again. We're going to stick it down on this other side, and then we're going to go back again. So I've cut the excess, and you can see I just have the twine wrapped back around these edges like this. So like I said, you save quite a few inches of twine if you're thrifty like me. If not, just wrap your twine all the way around. It's just as easy to do. I just like to save on my supplies. So with this extra little piece of twine, I'm gonna put it up under my wrapped pieces, and I'm just gonna tie a simple knot. Just one simple knot will do, and then I'm gonna cut the extra off there. That just adds a little something, a little extra texture to the card. Now we can put the card together. And last but not least, I added some foam adhesive to the back of our stamped image, which I have just colored with Copic markers, and I used the coordinating die to cut that out. And here's our first card. Isn't that fun? And it gives you a place to highlight your stamped image. You wouldn't want to you could just stick the coffee mug on there, just a white cardstock, but that orange rectangle just gives it a place to sit, a place to anchor it to the card, and just gives it a nice finished look that's pleasing to the eye. For our next card, we're going to be using another stamp set, and it's called Day of the Dead. And this is really fun. We've got a skeleton man and woman and some adorable sugar skulls with some other accent pieces and fun sentiments to go along with that. So what I've done is cut out a circle, a stitch circle with our stitch circle dies, and a scallop circle that fits behind it with our scallop circle dies. And I've done it in this pink and then really pretty metallic purple cardstock that I had here. Cut and colored two of our little guys from the stamp set, along with the sentiment, Celebra la vida, and that means celebrate life. And I also have celebrate life in English on the stamp set. For our card base, I've already gone ahead and done our stenciling for us. So I've used our Rose Garden layering stencil set, and it's a set of 3 stencils. So you get a stencil that does the leaves, you get a stencil that does the roses, and you get a stencil that does these little purple flowers. So I'm going to use that as our background, and then we're just going to layer these pieces on top and add our stamped images. Here I have added our circle and our scallop circle off the edge of the card. I like to do that. I think it just adds interest to your eye to have something going off the edge of the card. What I'm going to do is just simply trim that off. And now we have a nice focal piece for our stamped images. And the last thing I'll do is just attach our little sentiment here. And there we have it. For our next card, we're going to be using this beautiful stencil, and this is fairly new as well. This is our Mandala stencil. And I have it here on this blue piece of cardstock so that you can actually see it on the camera. But isn't that pretty? You could create lots of fun things with this mandala stencil. I laid the mandala stencil down, and with our ergonomic blender brush, I just stenciled some teal and some lime green ink. These stencils make really quick and easy, beautiful cards. And all we're gonna do to this one is simply add a sentiment. And we're gonna let the beauty of the ink blending with the stencil be the focal point of the card. So I added this green strip here to coordinate with the green ink that I used in the blending, and I thought that would just highlight our sentiment really nicely. I cut out from our Celebrate dies, just the word celebrate here. So this can be used for lots of different occasions, and we'll just glue that down. And there is our third card. For our next card, we're going to be doing some ink blending, and I don't have a fancy craft mat. So If you don't have a fancy craft mat, I want to show you a super cheap and simple, easy thing you can use when you're doing your ink blending. This is one of our packaging from our stencils. For this card, we're going to be using 2 stencils, our new Happy Fall stamp set. Let me show you that. So here's the Happy Fall stamp set. We've got that really cute bear. He's got an owl friend and a little tree with some different branches. And the bigger branch here, you can actually sit the owl on top of the branch. We've got a couple of mushrooms, an acorn, and some leaves, and some really fun sentiments. Thankful for your kindness, blessed to be your friend, and happy fall. So a really cute fall stamp set. You can also use the bear and the owl and the other elements at other times and occasions as well. As I mentioned, we're going to be using 2 stencils for this card. The first one we're going to be using is our Mask It Oval. So we've got the Mask It Oval stencil as well as the negative piece, and we're going to be using both. So this is our leafy stencil, and it's just a really fun leaf-filled background stencil. We're going to be using that. I've got our A2 size card ready to go. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I want to show you first how we can use this negative oval piece from the Mask It Oval stencil. So I've got a piece of purple tape here. This is just a repositionable piece of tape if you've got masking tape or painter's tape, or you could even use pixie spray to stick this down. But we want to stick this down where we want it on the card. And I want it somewhat centered, but I'm not going to be too fussy about it. So now we have the oval taped down to our card. The next thing we want to do, we'll take our leafy stencil, and I want to tape this down to the card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take some purple tape and just kind of tape the sides so that they won't move too much on me. Okay, so I'm going to lay this on top of my fancy craft mat, aka my stencil packaging, and we're ready to stencil. We're going to be using our mini ergonomic blender brush. I have our handy dandy Scrub It Clean cloth so that we can scrub off the ink in between colors. Okay, so I've pulled out a couple of Distress Oxide ink pads, and we're going to ink blend this leafy stencil onto our card. So with our ergonomic blender brush and the mini brush that I have here, you're just going to rub it into your ink pad. And then just in a circular motion, you're just going to blend that ink onto your paper. I'm keeping this dark brown around the outside, and I'm leaving a little halo of white towards the center where we have that oval. Remember, we have the negative oval under here, so we're not going to be putting ink where that oval is. That oval is kind of blocking the paper from the ink. I'm telling you, these ergonomic blender brushes make it so easy for me to blend ink. I have weaker hands, so holding on to the longer handled brushes it was just a little bit more difficult for me. Okay, I wanted to just take a look to see how that was looking, and it's looking good. And we'll just have to place that back, but I'm going to switch inks. So the nice thing about these ergonomic blender brushes, or any blender brush really, when you get done with one color, you can just brush that color off on our Scrub It Clean cloth. It's just a microfiber cloth that you can wash in the washing machine when it gets good and inky and dirty. Just don't use fabric softener because that adds like a coating to fabric or something. You don't want that. on your cloth. So now I've rubbed off the excess brown ink, and we're going to switch to some green, and I'm going to try some green ink. Okay, so now we're done blending with the green ink. Okay, are you ready for the ta-da moment? And I will clean this stencil off with some of our brush cleaner. We have squeaky clean brush cleaner, and it not only cleans your blender brushes, but it'll take the ink right off your stencils as well, and you can rub them down with the Scrub It Clean cloth. So now I'm going to remove this purple tape also. So now we still have that oval on the center of the card, so we can remove that. And look at that. Isn't that fun? We've created an oval where the leaves did not go. So it creates like a highlighted area right there. As you can see, my fancy dancy craft mat, aka my packaging, got a little inky, so all I'm going to do is going to take my Scrub It Clean cloth, and I'm just going to clean that ink right off the packaging. If I need to do it a little bit better, I can use some of our squeaky clean cleaner, the brush cleaner, and get that off even better. And with our oval stencil, we are going to ink in a little bit in this oval just to give it a little more dimension, and it's just an idea I had in my head and hope it works out like I want it to. So we're going to do some more ink blending. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use that green again. We're just going to carry the green over. So normally I would tape this down, but I'm just going to hold it. I kind of start ink blending on the stencil and bring it into the paper. So I'm not bringing any harsh edges or lines to the paper. And now we'll remove the oval stencil, and I will clean that in a bit. And there, we could have left that center oval white and it would have been just fine, but I think I really like the green with some of the green leaves right around it. That gives like a really fun look. Don't you just love it when ideas in your mind turn out the way you want them? This is our brush scrubber, and this is our Squeaky Clean in collaboration with our friends at Brutus Monroe. This is our Squeaky Clean brush cleaner. So it is a scented cleaner, just so you know. It's scented honeysuckle, which is very nice scent. Our brush scrubber just fits on your hand. You just stick your fingers in that little handle back there, or hold it whichever way is easiest for you. It's got all these little bumps there to clean your brush. Let's move our artwork away a little bit so we don't spray our artwork. But you're just going to take and you're going to spray a couple of spritzes into the scrubber with the Squeaky Clean brush cleaner, and then you're just going to scrub your brush across the cleaner, and those little bumps and nodules will get up in there and clean out the ink. And then all you have to do is go to our Scrub It Clean cloth, microfiber cloth, and we're just going to kind of dry that brush off a little bit. This helps to dry it, but also to get a little bit of extra ink off. And there you can see we don't have any of that green ink on there anymore, or the brown. It cleans the brush very nicely. So now we're going to finish this card off. We're going to put the little bear. I think I'm going to offset him in the oval, and I think I'm going to stamp the sentiment up next to him. So let's glue him down. I've got a couple of these little leaves that I colored and cut out with the coordinating dies, and I'm just going to stick those around the bear. So there we have our adorable bear sitting amongst some scattered leaves with this really cool stenciled background. Now all we need is our sentiments. And I have chosen I've got the happy fall on my block here, and we're just going to stamp that in the same brown that we used for the stenciling. And there we have it. Isn't that just the sweetest fall card? Oh, how cute. So I want to thank you again for joining us today at the Stampin' Scrapbook Expo at Home event. I hope you've enjoyed these fun cards we've made with stenciled backgrounds and some of our newer stamps. You can check out all these items and more at pinkandmain.com. Stay crafty, and until next time, keep living the creative life.